Gotta load up the thing. So this game's pretty wild. First thing I'm going to go over is our character choice. Batman in this game is actually not the optimal choice. He's a pretty fair character by comparison to Robin, who's just who we're going to be playing, and Robin's also just infinitely more entertaining to just speculate on, I guess, or witness as a spectacle. I'm going to show you why now as we get started. I'm going to switch the character select over to him. The emulator is going to make this look really weird in terms of how the scrolling looks. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started at 3, 2, 1, go.
Robin.
Even tells us who he is. Isn't that nice? Yeah, it was Iguana, actually, one of Acclaim's subsidiaries. They designed NBA Jam for the home console. First thing you'll notice through our offense is we have this dive kick that's really overpowered. For early enemies, it kills them in one hit. Go up from 1 to 2 right away, where we get to unleash our big supernova, because for those that don't know, Robin had superpowers. Now you know Robin has superpowers. He just gets to open up his suit, kill every enemy on screen, go about his merry way. And now he's going to do it again, except this time he's going to spin in the air. Why this happens, I don't know, but it's one of the coolest things about it. Speaking of the coolest things about it, now we have access to this flip kick that we get to use an infinite capability, similar to what you saw in the last game with Batman's Jab Infinite. Except Robin's is significantly more powerful. Like, you can tag any enemy with this, and as long as you can maintain it, they're basically instantly dead. This is fixed. We shrunk. We do less damage when we're like this, but that's actually not a bad thing, because it also makes it harder for enemies to hit us, so we just get to get in. Doing less damage doesn't matter if we're just killing them when we touch them anyway. Dodge these motorcycles. Those actually do pretty respectable damage, so I like to avoid them if I can. Similarly to TMNT, I'm going to try and go for a 1 credit clear in this game, which in this game is 3 lives instead of 2. It's going to be difficult, though, because this game can really turn up the volume on you pretty quickly. Mainly because of the fact that enemies in this game are really disgusting. They have random damage values. As in, this guy with the blue hood who I just killed, if he had touched me, he could have hit me with a punch that did 10%, he could have hit me with a punch that did 90%. We wouldn't know until he hit me. So my goal is just to make sure I never get hit, because that's just way too dangerous. Same thing with that yo-yo nonsense that guy was spinning. Swing here. So our goal from here is I want to make sure I can stay at 3 bars just to make sure I can take out these enemies. Female enemies are a particular problem. She has very, very good attacks. The dash upper, she can throw knives at me. She has a really tiny hitbox. Again, that was actually a pretty swag finish. Never pulled that off before. All these power-ups. With every one of these bat symbols, our meter goes back up a little bit more. So at the end of every stage, we have our choice of a power-up. We're always going to be taking hollow mode unless I mess up an input. This is also fixed. Shrinking the enemies at the start of the stage is something that always happens. We can just kill them by stepping on them. It's pretty nice. One we have to watch out for is one of these guys that's going to spawn in with a gun. The hollow mode duplicates us like this, which allows us to do really ridiculous flip kick combos that easily exceed 100 hits. This is also going to be really scary because now I'm at 2 bars and I need to be able to hit these guys. Which is going to be hard since I don't have the best flip kick. Best flip kick you only get at 3, and we're at 2. I need to do some evasion here. Okay, cool. Oh, unless I forget, the one big thing I forgot to talk about. When you get a 40-hit combo in this game, if you didn't already listen, this happens. Jim Carrey whispers sweet nothings in your ear. In fact, we're going to go back up to 40 hits again just because. I mean, that's just what sets this game's camp completely over the top. As always, hollow mode right away. Steal this back call. Back call is the best gadget in the game. I haven't talked enough about gadgets. Gadgets are very useful, especially when you get down to 2 and you need to be able to kill enemies to get their power-ups to get back down to 3. Back call is certainly the best of them. It's the most powerful, because it essentially kills every enemy on the screen, similar to how the, oh my god, that's a lot of damage. Yeah, that was really bad. Yeah, the gun is certainly the most dangerous thing to have to interact with in the game. As you saw there, like that guy got one shot on me and it just stun locked me to death. Pretty gnarly way to go out. As much fun as this game can be, when it does that to you, not my favorite thing. So I had to pull back into some safety strats there to try to finish these guys off. So anyway, about gadgets, we had back call but didn't get to use it. I picked up stun bomb by mistake. Every gadget you pick up replaces the one you already have, or you currently have, I should say. And stun bomb's the worst gadget in the game. So there we got batarang into taser. Batarangs would have been cool, but I don't really need them right now because I'm back at 3. Just gonna dive around a bit, get some hits. As long as I'm in blue formation, these guys shouldn't be able to mess with me at all. Kill that. Kind of sucks we took a death already, but I'm already back in pretty good shape, I think. This guy with a gun's gonna be the biggest problem. For Tasshole, as I affectionately refer to him as, he's honestly not that difficult. He can get into a lot of damage if you let him. As long as you're alert to his movement, it shouldn't be an issue. He has this flying kick that he can start combos with and do a lot of damage to you, but it wasn't really much of an issue there. Oh, forgot the hollow mode. Here I'm gonna try and get back down to 2 and then get back up to 3. Not down up, because that's not a thing. Trying to do that because I want to get some health back. This stage is pretty unique for this game. It's a bit of an auto-scroller because all you're waiting for is for the crane to get through all of its cycles. You also want to avoid the crane at all costs. The crane falling on you does kill you. It's instant death, so I'm avoiding that as much as I possibly can while picking up these super batarangs in the meantime. Super batarangs have no impact on enemies that I'm currently fighting right now. They're specifically for the boss that I'm going to be fighting. Just doing short, quick combos to make sure these guys just aren't in my hair. Maybe that falls on him, it did not. We didn't do the manip. No big deal. Okay, so for our boss, we have this helicopter, who's pretty awful to fight, in my opinion. Especially if you can't get these guys off you. The helicopter itself isn't that big of a deal because it can't hit you with this gunfire, which doesn't make any sense. Get that guy out there. We managed to finish it off in 2 cycles. I think I've only one cycled it once. And by one cycle, I mean before he's able to go to the left side.
Let's start this party with a bang!
Get our first official Two-Face appearance, I think.
Boys!
Onto this party where people just not care less about what's going on, despite the fact there's a river of carnage just ascending on them. This stage is actually really difficult because there's not a lot of space going top to bottom, and you have to be really, really cautious about what the enemies can do to you. Any enemy running on screen has the opportunity to hit you with their dash. Like, their dash is just a hitbox. But I made some pretty good use of gadgets there. Batarangs are really useful for that. I believe even at as recent as level 2, if you're at level 2, they can do enough damage to be able to just take an enemy down in one hit and get you their power up. So that's really useful to have. I did not want that to happen though. Grapple I'm not so crazy about. Probably the second worst gadget for Robin. I think I should be okay.
The Riddler.
This guy out. I just anticipated him being there. Okay, got your kick in. I'm happy for you. This guy's gonna be a nuisance. He can actually dodge your dive kick. So you have to basically just kind of throw out a flip kick and hope for the best. Alright, these guys are gonna be awful. Especially this red guy. He has the gun. We don't want to get hit by that, as we saw earlier. He also has grenades. They're a little bit too late. Execution was a bit off. Okay, this is going to be annoying. These guys, much like other enemies we fought so far, are boss enemies at first, but we'll be seeing a bit more of them later as basic enemies. It's like a little bit more damage there than I would have liked, but I think we'll be able to move on. Didn't take a second death though, so that's useful. The goal here is to try to get down to 2, then back up to 3. Like always, because I just want to be able to make sure I can get health. Alright, so now we get to the point where we actually have random power-ups. Indestructible is excellent. It's essentially an invincibility star. Enemies can't hit you at all. You can't do contact damage, but enemies can't actually interact with you, except that I get to hit them, which is really, really great. It doesn't last long enough. Of course, if it lasted longer, it would be completely busted, and it's already, like, insanely good. Random power up, it's good versus evil. Another indestructible, that's great. VR mode on the mystery, that's also good. VR mode turns every enemy on the screen into a one-hit death. Stay indestructible for a bit, kill off every enemy we see. That guy's still alive. Or, okay. He was at 77%, so I don't know. Anyway, another enemy we're going to be seeing more of later. Here we have Feather, the most feared of Batman rogues. Along with another guy wielding a gun, which he's actually the bigger threat there than Feather is. Imagine that, a guy with a gun is more threatening than a guy with a feather. New stage, going to be doing more flippies. This stage is almost entirely a carbon copy of the last stage, except it's almost in reverse in a way. It's going to be running away, trying to get away from enemies. Bring back down. So the evil gave us a bomb. The bomb is very common to get for evil. I'm not particularly crazy about it, but it's whatever. So now I have back call. I'm definitely going to use it because I'm only at 2. I'm going to jump forward, use it. Going to take out all these enemies, get all these power-ups, be able to heal back up to full. Now, granted, that is a detractor of speed. You know, I don't know where that box came from. That was kind of crazy. The cutscene that triggers when you level up does take a while, admittedly, but it does save time because, 1, it's safe, because it's faster than dying, and 2, it kills every enemy on the field. Completely invaluable in a beat 'em up. I don't like that guy doing that. Alright, I'm getting trolled big time. The Red Hood guys are some of the hardest enemies in the game. It's because, as mentioned before, gun and grenade. Both of those are extremely threatening. And I got hit twice down in the pit. Don't know what happened there. Threw a guy into a guy and I killed him. That was neat. Alright, this is going to be a little bit scary. I'm a little bit lower on mirror than I would like to be. I think my goal is I'm going to get to 2 and then unleash the bats. There we go. It didn't quite get up to 3. But I think it should be okay for this boss fight. Sugar and Spice are pretty easy. Just infinite them and they die. Infinite's a little bit harder when you're only at 2, but I think I should still be okay. I didn't have to spend that much to be able to kill one, and now we're back up to 3, so we should be fine. Bosses drop really, really big power-ups. They refill like half a bar, I think, or something close to that. Alright, so a little bit lower on health than I'd like to be. So I'm going to hollow mode right away, try to get back down to 2, then get back up to 3, as per the quota. I also wanted to make sure I could dodge that car. That car does a lot of damage. This is pretty gnarly. Okay, there we go. It was a little scary there because I was still at 2 and hadn't leveled up yet, but I also didn't have a gadget with which to protect myself. As I mentioned before, it's primarily what they're used for. Swarm all this stuff here. Indestructible is great to have here for sure. Wish all these items weren't in my way. This isn't very common. I guess some enemies decided to get crazy. Also took a hit there I didn't want to take. Get a lot of crazy hits in there.
Can I get a quick donation in?
Yes, you can.
Alright. Dark Terex donated $10.
Nice.
His message is putting 10 for the slime in Rocket Slime to be named Supreme since he pulled out. An awesome emergency run for us. Guys, thanks for your donation.
Appreciate the donation, thank you. Got some bosses here that we've seen already throughout the course of this game, but for here, it's just going to be a matter of just making sure we can survive. It shouldn't be too hard, and we're back up to full resources, which is good. Big thanks to Supreme, especially after that awesome Donkey Kong Country run. Dude, stop blocking. Feather enemies can be pretty obnoxious. If they're doing that move where they spin their staff in place, that means they get to block everything you try to do to them. Gadgets, melee hits, you name it. That looked really crazy. I threw a guy and then flip kick right out of that. So that previous stage could have gone way worse, and I'm pretty happy with the way it did. This stage is just as hard. Just more random swaths of enemies that can really put a run in jeopardy, especially with these Red Hood guys who are just ready to pop off with a firearm. Okay, that was good power collecting. We'll be able to take these guys out, especially the guy who's throwing the staff at me. Very good. Okay. This car is one of my favorite things in the game. The sound it makes when you land on top of it is just top tier. I love it so much. If it's rocking, don't come knocking. It's so funny. It's so stupid too. I love it. Take these clowns out. Do a quick back call because I'm at 2. That was really useful because I was also able to get the mystery right after that, which turned them all into small enemies. And now that I'm back at full resources, I can just flip kick my way out of this. Hello. Lots of evil today. I've only ever gotten good in single runs one time. Like I've got it multiple times, but there's only one point where I've actually gotten good during the run, and it's that exact coin right there. So I don't know what the algorithm in this game is about. Sometimes I feel like it just does it at random and it means nothing. Be nice if it meant something, because it could be something good for you, even if it's evil. Evil puts a bomb on the screen that kills all the bad guys. It's great for you. Okay, cool. Good use of power-up collecting there. This is only going to kill the guy in the yellow mask in front of me. Actually, no, I took out the feather guy too. That's cool. And we took out by ourselves. And Tassel comes back for his rematch. Get the invincible frames with their flip kick and finish him off. Snag that. Give me that. Very cool. As you can tell, there's once you describe the basic mechanics of the stage, there's not really a whole lot to talk about because every stage kind of plays out the same just because of how busted the flip kick is. From this point, it just becomes more spectacle than anything. There's like one unique boss fight we're going to have in this stage after this. This stage is rather difficult. Start of the Batcave can really be pretty rude. And the end of it can be even more rude because that's when the bridge starts to collapse. Spoiler alert there. Here I'm going to use a gadget because I'm only at 2. Taser's really powerful. Kills anything it touches in one hit, then you all you have to do is dive kick it to finish it off. Take all these. Do that just to use it. I don't think I'm going to be able... that was bad. Okay, Indestructible's useful. I'll definitely take that. I don't know if this guy's going to follow me or not. Some enemies will actually follow you to the other side, but others you can just despawn. Alright, he wasn't playing ball. That's fine. Like that. The bomb isn't too useful. It's only a one-shot, and I don't actually think it damages enemies, but it does clear everything out. So it can actually turn into some safety really quickly. I think I'm going to get what I want here. So I have to stay at 3. That was gross. These guys can be really, really mean. This is impressive. Oh, I get what you're saying now. Alright, I'm going to try and get to 2. I don't know if I'm going to be able to here. That's really bad. The guy's a gun. I'd rather him just be dead. Not want you doing that. Where that guy inspires more fear than any other enemy in this game. The gun is just terrifying. Okay, so what we're gonna do is get down to 2 really quickly. These guys, try not to die. If I have to panic and start using taser or whatever, so be it, but I'd rather try and get to 3 without having to do that. That worked out. Solid enough play there. Wipe those guys out. They're spawning in. Go in hollow mode. I meant to do that. We'll get faster meter drains this way, and hopefully another health refill. This stage is honestly really scary if your resources aren't good. I came in with really bad meter, but decent health and gadgets that I could use to ward things off if I really needed to. Thankfully, I haven't needed to. I'm just gonna get as much damage in on these jokers as I can. And if you reach this segment, it despawns all enemies, as you saw. Like, I didn't have to do anything to those guys. Here we have the unique boss fight I was referring to. This is the Monarch Bat, which I think is supposed to be the bat that was haunting Bruce Wayne's dreams. I really don't know. It's a weird enemy to have in a game like this. Plus it spits fire, which is super crazy. It's similar to the helicopter fight in that we can only use these specifically generated batarangs to be able to hit it. And he can be a real troll if he decides to come in and just squat his hitbox on you. It can also be really bad if you don't have good directional influence with your dives. You need to be able to use dives to get out of the way of what he's trying to do. So if you're trying to dive to the right correctly and dive to the left instead by mistake, that's not good. Most of those should miss me. I should be able to finish him here. Or not. He's going to go for a heal move here, but you can generally pretty easily interrupt it. Alright, so my resources are in the toilet, but we still didn't die, so that's good. For our final stage, we have this gauntlet of enemies that's going to lead to our final boss, whose spoiler is extremely underwhelming, but the gauntlet of enemies getting to him is... It's going to be a test, for sure. Because they throw every enemy you've encountered up to this point in the game at you, including bosses you've already fought and haven't seen since, like Sugar and Spice. Plus, it's a revolving room, and that can really mess up your momentum, your movement, your everything. Especially if they decide to put themselves behind that pedestal that Riddler's standing on. The real reason to get excited here is Riddler's walk animation. Look at all this nonsense he's doing. So my health's really bad. But if I'm able to drain my meter enough, we should be okay. There is also going to be a health up at one point, but I may not be able to get it. They guard it pretty well. Chill out here in the foreground. Just gonna try and drain myself to 2 here, as mentioned. Where's the health up I want? Actually got it. Didn't refill much, but a little bit helps. Drop all these guys. Okay, cool. That was very useful for sure. Slam dunk on those dudes. Take out the robots with some lightning fast foot. Okay, whatever you say, freaking Scorpion. Just get over here, I guess. What are you doing? Please stop. There we go. Or not. Da, da, da. A few more waves here. We got these staff guys who definitely can be pretty mean, especially if all they want to do is block. We can definitely dream some time here. Just pure random. They decide to be aggressive, great. That means I can kill them. Of course, he got up and decided to block. It's pretty normal. Take these clowns out. Get my meter back. Onto the girls. Alright, I didn't manage to kill both of them, which is unfortunate. We got them there. So for our first of 2 bosses, here we're going to grab another Super Batarang. Throw it right at Riddler's little column here. We're going to get this really slow motion cutscene. Some wonderful animatronics. That sobbing gets me every time. Onto our actual final boss in Two-Face, who you'd think would be really hard for a final boss, but as I mentioned before, he's kind of a joke. All you have to do is just flip kick him to death like you did everybody else. And he's up. Alright, time's going to be as soon as Robin exits the screen, and that's time. I wasn't going to say anything while I was doing the run, but that actually is a new world record. My previous PB was a 24:17, so this is going to be a 23:52. I don't know if that's the first one for the marathon, but hey, new world record for marathons, always hype.
Nice
pretty cute.
run.
Appreciate it. I got an oh lol out of that. I love it. That's pretty sweet. I was, again, I didn't want to say anything during the run, but I was just like, oh man, I might start to sweat here in a second. But yeah, that's actually my first 23. That's pretty great. Like, three of my last 3 runs, all PBs were 24s. So getting that first 23 ever is pretty cool, not gonna lie. And I expect that this week, because I did PB that, not last night, but the night before, with that 24-17 aforementioned. But yeah, that's that's gonna finish that game off for me for a while. But I'm gonna still play it in marathons. I love this game. Anyway, managed to get a 1cc. Sucks we took a death, but still a great run. Really, really happy I was able to make sure everybody got to see it, because like I just love getting to see this game get shown off. It's just so ridiculous and unique and absurd, and really hope you all enjoyed it. And once again, thank you to everybody who's donated to literally bring them over. Gotta get Prissy, Ohan, and Becco over here from abroad to get to AGDQ 2020 to compete in their NES races. It's gonna be an amazing experience. Just make sure you get your donations in, and we'll get them over here. And I think that's going to do it for me this evening. Looks like up next we've got... I always like to make sure I can an upcoming runner. Looks like we got Darrenville up with Castlevania Circle of the Moon, which is an excellent game. So hope you all stick around for that. And I'm going to see you all next time. Thanks again to Shelny and the crew for having me for the marathon. I was really happy to be able to finally participate and to bring them over. And you all have a great rest of your night. Thank you so much and take care.